So the job market for IT is getting real competitive, even at the entry level. And if you actually want to land a job in IT or take your current IT career to the next level, you're going to need to have some skills that allow you to outshine the rest of the chumps applying for those same jobs you are. And in this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 skills that'll help you outshine the rest and land that IT job that you're going for. Now, this list of skills is based off of my experience in the IT career field in both the government and the private sector, and have actually allowed me to go from help desk to senior network engineer in just a few years. And I've also noticed that a lot of the people I work with in networking, systems, and cybersecurity also have a lot of these same skills and have allowed them to excel past all the competition as well. Now, if you're trying to get into IT or even get to that next level because you're sick and tired of the current job you're in, this is the video for you. If you're just trying to stay where you're at, you're not trying to actually excel above the rest, then you probably want to go ahead and skip this video. But if you are trying to get ahead, this is the video for you and you're going to want to stick around. But anyways, let's go ahead and actually get into the list, starting with number 1. If you want to outshine the rest, you're going to have skill number 1, which is being familiar with Linux. Now, just about everything you run into in your IT career field, or at least 80% of it, is going to run on Linux. Whether it be your application servers, your database servers, Android phones, even routers, switches, and firewalls, and many other things that are hosted both in the cloud and locally are all going to run on Linux. And if you go to SSH or connect into one of these things and end up on a bash command line, you don't want to be like, oh shit. You want to be like,
it's a Unix system. I know this.
Because I'm telling you, you're not going to want to be learning Linux when you're on the job and you're first connecting into something. And you don't need to be an expert in learning Linux, of course. You just need to be able to do basic daily tasks. I'm talking maybe creating a file, modifying permissions, using rsync, SSH or SCP files, which is just transferring files essentially to another device, modifying permissions and host-based firewall ports, and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't even know that this is a command, then you're probably going to want to go ahead and take a basic Linux course on YouTube. You don't have to do anything that's paid. All of this stuff is easily researchable on Google and YouTube, and honestly, it's all free. And the best thing about this is you can deploy a virtual machine on your laptop or your PC right now and start using it as a daily driver. And that's what I would recommend, honestly. You're going to want to use it for about a month, maybe less if you're really high speed, and just get familiar with it like you're familiar with your Windows and Macs, and I promise you it'll pay dividends in the future of your IT career. So that's skill number 1. Make sure you know a little bit of Linux. You don't have to be an expert, just be familiar with some of the basic tasks. But let's go ahead and get into skill number 2. So if you really want to land that IT job or even outshine the rest, you're going to want to have a little bit of skill number 2 as well, which is having familiarization with some sort of automation or scripting language. Many organizations are pushing their IT departments to automate as much as they can. They want those monotonous tasks like maybe changing a port description on a whole bunch of devices, maybe checking firmware or updating devices, many monotonous tasks to be completed as fast as possible, because that stuff generally takes a lot of time and it's just monotonous stuff that's over and over. It doesn't take a lot of thought, but it wastes time, and time is money. And if you're wasting your time doing that, you're not putting money in their pockets. So they want you to automate those things, and you're gonna have to have some sort of experience in some sort of scripting language. And before you get your panties in a bunch, I know I'm throwing a whole bunch of stuff out there, but it's just like Linux. You don't need to be an expert in it. You just need to be able to do some of the basics. You want to be able to do basic things like if you're doing Python, you might want to be able to do for loops. You want to be able to understand what a connection handler is and how it allows you to interact with networking devices. Things like that. Just very basic things. You want to be able to be familiar with someone giving you a task and you being able to know where you need to go, what repositories you might want to look at, so that you can identify how you can build that script. And of course, the scripting language you want to learn is going to be dependent kind of on what IT path you want to take. Let's say you want to go towards networking, you might want to learn Python or Ansible. If you want to go towards systems or server administration, you're probably going to want to know things like PowerCLI, maybe PowerShell or Terraform. And if you're going towards cybersecurity, you might want to know Python as well. And of course, you don't need to be an expert in any of those, or you don't even have to use those ones. You can research other ones that are more popular in the realm of IT you're trying to get into and go with that instead. Just go ahead and look up a basic course on YouTube, start researching into it. If you want, maybe I can even start doing one on Python, because that's what I've been working with for the most part in the networking realm. But anyways, start using those. Maybe use some sort of AI to help explain what you're doing, and you'll be Gucci, you'll be good to go. But you're going to want to have some sort of familiarization with automation, because that's the way we're going. We're trying to do as much as we possibly can with minimal resources, and you having that on your resume is going to help you outshine the rest. You might end up even being the one that leads an organization down the automation path, because they probably have a whole bunch of old heads who are super comfortable where they're at and refuse to learn automation, and they need a new younger guy or girl who's hot on automation and wants to automate as much as they can. So having automation on your resume is gonna definitely help you outshine the rest. You don't need to know a lot, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So if you want to outshine the rest, you're gonna want to have some knowledge in skill number 3 as well, which is familiarization with virtualization, by saying that 5 times fast. But anyways, you're gonna want to understand the basics of virtualization. You're gonna want to know what a hypervisor is. You're gonna want to know how virtual machines in a hypervisor can actually communicate with each other, or the rest of the actual physical network, or be completely isolated by themselves. You want to understand how NAT works with virtualization, how port groups works, basic things like those. And you don't even honestly need to get that experienced in it. You just want to know the basics of it and be familiar with actually working in a virtual environment. And the great thing about learning virtualization is, number 1, it's free. And number 2, it's actually going to be a tool to help you learn a lot of other things in your IT career field. You want to learn Linux, which is skill number 1, right? Well, you can actually install a hypervisor like VirtualBox, Proxmox, or VMware Workstation for free on your PC or laptop. Don't need a beefy boy. It can be a standard laptop for the most part, and actually run Linux on it. You can run a lot of other different operating systems as well, like Windows on top of Windows, or whatever it is you want to do. And the great thing about it is it's all free. You don't have to pay for any of them. And you can even look at some of my previous videos where I show you how to do that. But anyways, you're going to want to know virtualization because every single organization uses it now. Whether it be Docker, whether it be actual ESXi hosts, they all run virtual machines on physical servers. And it's just because it allows us to reserve resources and money and not spend a crap ton of money on every single physical server just for a new server. Every organization does it. And if you want to be successful in your career field, you're going to need to be familiar with virtualization. And there's plenty of videos out there. There's plenty of free resources. And if you do have a little bit of money that you can throw at it, I would recommend getting yourself maybe a somewhat of a beefy server, whether it be a Blade server like a Dell R620 that you can get off of eBay for like $200, or even an older Dell Tower desktop, like maybe a 7020 or something like that. You can get one of those and put ESXi or Proxmox right on top of it and have a virtual environment where you can start running all kinds of virtual machines. It's going to be great because it's obviously going to help you in your professional development, both on the job and learning other things. You don't even have to use your own resources. You can use a cloud provider like AWS or Azure, and they'll give you free credits when you sign up so that you can actually deploy your own virtual machines in their cloud environment and actually start testing things. So make sure you turn those off afterwards, because otherwise you leave that thing running for a week, you're going to wake up with a giant bill. But yeah, you don't even need to have your own gear, and you generally don't need to drop a dime to start working with virtualization, which is great. So definitely check it out. So if you want to outshine the rest and have a competitive edge over the rest of the applicants and land an IT job, you're going to want to have skill number 4, which is understanding of basic networking. You can be an expert at hacking into servers. You can be the best server administrator, but you're basically useless if you don't know how to get yourself off of your own LAN. And that's local area network, in case you didn't know. Networking is basically the backbone of all infrastructure. In order for servers to talk to each other, they're going to need to be able to have a network in between them. I mean, the entire internet is a network. So understanding at least how it somewhat works is going to help set you apart from your peers. I've seen so many people out there who don't know the difference between this network and this network, and it's honestly put them behind, because there's been times where they've been stuck in troubleshooting connectivity forever, and it's honestly because they didn't realize they were on the wrong subnet. You're going to want to understand what a VLAN is and how it can impact whether or not you can or cannot talk to another device on your organization's network. You're going to want to know how to do basic packet walks. You're going to want to understand how you go from layer 2 on the OSI model to layer 3, how you get to your gateway, and what's past that, potentially a firewall, things like that, so you can just do basic connectivity testing and you're not bothering your network engineer all the time. Knowing basic networking is going to help you solve about 74.3% of all connectivity issues that you run into, save you so many hours of troubleshooting, and it's going to help you regardless of whatever realm you decide to go into, whether it be server administration, cybersecurity, development, and definitely networking if you decide to become a network engineer, of course. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into our last skill, skill number 5. So I know the first couple skills have made it seem like you need to know everything under the sun in order to land that IT job or get promoted. But skill number 5 is the most important. And if you actually have this one alone, it'll probably get you any job you want. And that is being able to socialize with people. Listen, this may seem like the hardest one for a lot of you guys to attain. And it's because you're introverted, you have no friends, and you don't want to talk to anybody, but you need to let those social butterfly wings fly, bro. You have to know how to have a conversation with someone that consists of more than just saying hi and bye. Remember, it's not always about what you know, but who you know. And I can tell you that's the case because a lot of these motherfuckers who are working in IT don't know anything. When I made my way into the IT field after I separated from the Army, it wasn't my degree and it wasn't the CompTIA A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus trifecta that got me the job. It was actually the fact that I knew the IT manager when I was transitioning out, and I just so happened to bump into him and start conversating with him prior to my separation. Matter of fact, I actually had applied to the help desk position that I ended up getting later on down the future and was rejected for it. And the only reason I ended up getting it is because I was actually communicating with this IT manager and showing him what I've done, showing him that I was getting ready to get out, and he was impressed. So he actually told me to give him my resume, and he gave it to that same recruiter who then called me back after rejecting me and offered me the job. So remember, it's not always about what you know, but who you know. And you can't know anybody if you ain't talking to anybody. So use those social butterfly wings of yours and fly, my friend. If you can actually talk to people, you'll be fine. And a lot of you guys are probably introverted, so just start off by talking to the people that you do know now. Try to hold that conversation a little bit longer. Maybe ask them a question, make it seem like you're interested, and then that's it. Just cut it off. From there, you can go on to someone else. Maybe someone you're not intimidated about. Maybe someone that's ugly, and you find it easy to talk to them.
You one ugly motherfucker.
Just try to hold the conversation a little bit longer, and I promise you that'll eventually allow you to talk to some of these guys who are really important and can get you a job without even needing to know anything. So skill number 5, being able to socialize and talking to people, is definitely the most important of all of them. No matter what anybody says, I guarantee you it's all about who you know sometimes. That's it. That's skill number 5. So those are the top 5 skills you need to either get yourself an IT job or excel currently in your IT career field. You want to know some sort of Linux, automation, virtualization, networking, and obviously be able to talk to people. I appreciate your guys' support. Drop a comment down below, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you think this list was accurate, or if not, which skill you would add or remove from the list. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I'm thinking about doing the top certification for beginners. Anyways, I appreciate you guys' support, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.